Imagine yourself anywhere on a moonless, cloudless night, away from any artificial light, gazing up into the heavens. It could be by the beach, where you're serenaded by the sound of the surf, or up in the mountains by a lake or a river, or maybe out on your own deck, up in the mountains. Wherever it is, you have an unobstructed view of the heavens. You look up here, you see stars, galaxies, planets. You see thousands of them, millions of them, billions of them, all over the sky. You start to look at these, and they're grouped in ways that they resemble shapes to you. This one looks like a snake almost. You look over here, and it looks like a face over here, and this one like a box. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. From the beginning of time of recorded history, we've tried to organize the skies. There's a reason why we try to do this. Seafarers and caravans would look for a certain star to navigate wherever they were going. Farmers and herders would look to the seasons to know when they were going to plant or when they were going to move their herds for better grazing. By grouping the stars, connecting the dots, so to speak, we created constellations. And they all attempted to explain what at that time for human beings was unexplainable. Couldn't. Take, for instance, the North Star. You can see the North Star from northern latitudes where we're at. And they call it the North Star because it points to celestial north. The thing about the North Star, though, if you stay up at night and you look at the stars, with the rotation of the Earth, they rotate from east to west through the night. So through a nightly period, the stars that rise here are going to set over here. It's the way things are, scientific fact. Except for the North Star. It stays up there all night long. How can you explain this? And not only the North Star, there's two constellations up there that hang with it all night long. They look like a box or a spoon, a big one and a little one. We know them as the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, or the Big Bear and the Little Bear. It can be explained why they stay up there scientifically. I prefer to sometimes believe in another story of how they got it. Long, long time ago, when the mythological gods ruled the earth, there was a mortal, a woman, whose beauty was beyond belief. Her name was Callisto. Her beauty was renowned through all mortals, and even the king of the gods, Zeus, started to notice her. Now Zeus, king of the gods, you think, okay, I'm king, I can do anything I want, right? Well, he did. Some of his habits were maybe not too admirable. He would like to go down, find this beautiful maidens, plural, and he would have affairs with them. And he did with this Callisto. She ended up having his child. Now, of course, the king of the gods has his counterpart, which is the queen of the gods. Hera was her name. Now, Hera didn't want anything to do with Zeus's happenings on with these mortals. When she found out that this mortal had born his son, she became angry. She came down and she turned Callisto into a bear so that her husband would not be interested in her anymore. She was now an animal, beast animal, but inside she was still a human being. Her son, Arcas was his name, continued to grow up. And soon he became a young man, a strong man, And he was renowned because he was a hunter. He was very good at hunting. He would go out and he hunted with his bow and arrow or his sword. And he would go out and he was known throughout the kingdom as being the best. Now the bear, his mother, would always be near where he grew up. She could not stay away from him. She wanted to speak to him. She wanted to be with her son. She was getting braver and braver all the time. One day, she came very close to him while he was out hunting. All she wanted to do was talk to him. He didn't recognize her as anything but an animal, a bear. He, being a hunter, pulled a quiver out of an arrow out of his quiver with his bow, ready, aim, and let go. Before the arrow hit this point, Zeus, the king of the gods, was watching all this. He says, I cannot let this happen. He plucked her out, threw her up into the heavens, and made her a constellation. Did the same thing with her son, threw him up into the heavens and made him another constellation, the big bear and the little bear, around the northern polar star. You think the story ends there, but it doesn't. Hera found out that now there's these two constellations up in the heavens that are grander than me. I cannot let this happen. So she fixed it that these two constellations would never know rest and go down the horizon at the end of the day. They would stay up there all night. So today, when you look up at the night sky, you'll see the North Star. You'll see Polaris. And now you know the real story of why they stay there. Mr. Toastmaster.